G'day viewers, the end of another week means it's time once more for me to welcome you to Totally Fucked Up Friday, where I present you with the incontrovertible evidence that yes, the world really is totally fucked up. And let's start with the ongoing totally fucked up war against really bad copyright laws around the world. And this is ongoing, I really mean this. I have no idea how many videos I've made about internet censorship generally over the years, whether the excuse was we're stopping piracy or we're protecting the kiddies from kid porn or the terrorists or the hackers, and it's all bullshit. It's people who don't understand what they're talking about trying to control something they don't understand. It's as simple as that. And we're all very happy that SOPA and PIPA got knocked down a bit, maybe temporarily, in the US recently. I had to smile at people who were sending me links. Oh, you know what's worse than SOPA and PIPA? ACTA. And you should know about ACTA. And I restrained myself from saying, send that message to 2009 when it would have been news to me. Because I have been making videos about ACTA for years. And I went back in my catalogue and looked. And yes, the first videos I made about ACTA were in 2009. So thanks for the tip, guys. But it's not just, an ACTA's been signed, by the way. It's in place everywhere that matters, okay? So it's kind of pointless, and a lot of the things people are saying are wrong with it are out of date. One of the worst things about ACTA, to me, is the early negotiations were done in secret. This was an international trade agreement that the people who vote for the governments didn't realise what their governments do. And what actually blew my mind is the reason we knew anything about it is because people within these secret talks were leaking the information. And I assume they were leaking it because they were horrified at how far-reaching it was. Things like blocking generic drugs, which did get stopped, imposing a 3 strikes and you're out rule with internet infringement, which means accused of copyright infringement 3 times and your internet gets cut off. I don't even know how that works, but it's a stupid fucking concept anyway. So ACTA's a done deal, but I bring this up because of the US body behind it. The US Trade Representative is having their latest round of talks and thoughts and discussions on what they should do on this topic. Guess what? They're doing it in secret again. But in terms with, open government in the US, they are actually open for public comment at the moment. I've got a link down there. Americans, please, send the messages of don't just swallow what these big content companies say you should do, because it's bullshit, quite frankly. And they do have another trade agreement, which you can read about down low, and being discussed in secret again, and 2 ridiculous bits that have come to light. One advocacy group who found out where they were having their talk in a Hollywood hotel which had conference rooms. So I thought, okay, we'll book a conference room in the same place, and they were having a public interest discussion on the same topic to draw attention to what was going on. And then when the hotel found out what they wanted to do, called them and go, oh, sorry, we made a mistake. We can't have any other conferences because there's a confidential group there and no one else can be around. And they went, oh, okay, so it's not because we were saying they're a bunch of dicks, it's no one can be there. And the hotel went, yeah, sure. And so then they rang back under a different name and said they wanted a completely different conference in the hotel at the same time. And the hotel went, yeah, sure, we got plenty of rooms. And they wonder why people are cynical. So yes, this current trade agreement, they're thinking, this stuff will just keep happening, by the way. There is no victory in this war against stupid laws. It's ongoing. And just as a by the by, it's whatever sort of laws you think are stupid. And I know there's lots of people who disagree with me on what's good and bad laws. But yeah, with lawmakers around the world, when you win a little victory, it's not over. They just try again because that's how the lobbying that goes on with governments works. So yeah, this is going to be essentially never ending. And one of the things that leaked about these secret discussions going on now is they're bringing up something that was last brought up in the 90s, saying that they should be able to control the way computers buffer temporary copies into their memory for playing. Basically, the way computers work, the way the internet works. And this got smacked down in the 90s because it's such a stupid idea. But basically, it's come up again. And these studios, movie studios, TV studios, record studios, they seriously believe they should be able to dictate the way technology is built. That is how fucked up these people are. And again, people go, oh, should we worry about America? Yes, because this trade group, what they do is then they pressure countries around the world to follow US-style copyright laws. There was a story a little while ago about how Spain had been bullied into imposing these really strict laws, and currently Canada is under the microscope and they're being pushed to put SOPA style enforcement into their upcoming copyright bills. It's bullshit, it happens all the time, and we'll be fighting against this forever. Speaking of bullshit and fighting it forever, an FBI communique has come to light that's aimed at internet cafes. How to spot potential terrorists. Now, of course, we want to spot potential terrorists. They're bad people. But what this FBI instruction says, things to look for, and this is another thing I just want to keep bringing up to people. Whenever we bring up things like torrenting and the pirates and the people say, oh, I've got anonymizers, I use Tor, they'll never get me. That has been specifically cited by the FBI as likely terrorist activity. If you use anonymizers, you might be a terrorist. And it goes to extraordinary extents. It's like, if you use encryption, that's a sign you could be a terrorist. Oh, if you just seem worried about security and confidentiality, you might be a terrorist. If you don't like people looking at your computer screen, you might be a terrorist. And hey, if you like to read about military-themed things or quote-unquote revolutionary literature, you might be a terrorist. That's right, and we all know this is actually in law now. The FBI can monitor your internet traffic without a warrant, and it's all under the umbrella of you might be a terrorist. So basically, if I was looking at it again, wow, if you like porn, you might be a terrorist, because that's the big user of all those secrecy and anonymous browsing things. But everything they're saying is might be a terrorist. I work in a corporate environment. It's everything that is the basic security protocols you're told to follow in workplaces. It's like, my God, my workplace is turning me into a terrorist. My God, this deserves its own video, sort of Jeff Foxworthy inspired. You might be a terrorist if. It's like, this stuff is insane. And this is the other thing I want to point to people, and it's usually young males who are so fucking naive, like, ooh, I'm working with Anonymous, using the low-orbit ion cannon. I'm hacking. I'm bringing them down with a DDS. When you get caught, and the last round of this shit, dozens of arrests. I haven't heard of any arrests from the anti-SOPA, anti-PEPA stuff and the fight back against the mega upload. There will be, and there will be dozens of arrests. Now, you won't be arrested for piracy. You won't be arrested for being a hacker. The charge will be terrorism related. And if you haven't been paying attention, once you're charged with that, you are totally fucked. Speaking of someone who's totally fucked or deserves to be, I found one of my favourite sorts of stories when you see stuff in the lead paragraph about a lawsuit over injury at a frat party when in a drunken stupor, one person thought it would be a good idea to launch bottle rockets out of their anus. Yes, just put that into YouTube, bottle rocket in ass, and you'll get dozens and dozens of videos of that shit goes wrong. So it's like, oh, I know what the injury's gonna be. Someone got convinced to stick a bottle rocket up his ass, burned himself, and he's suing everyone. No, that's not quite it. You see, one Louis Hellberg III, who deserves a fucking smack in the head just for that name, he was at this frat party, and it wasn't him who stuck the bottle rocket up his ass, but he's still claiming injury. What happened? Did it fly off and hit him in the face? No, it was the typical misfire in that the bottle rocket didn't go out of the guy's ass and it exploded, and Mr. 3, he was so shocked by the bang, he fell off the deck, which is apparently about a metre off the ground, and he claiming injury and, of course, psychological trauma and medical bills. It's like, wait. So you were there at the party, you saw someone sticking a bottle rocket up their ass, and when it exploded, you fell over in fright, and now you're suing people for that. You are going on public record as essentially saying you are a little bitch and you're expecting this to end well for you. If you want another tip why it's not going to end well for this guy, read the link down below. He's basically suing the frat for having a frat party. They let underage people drink alcohol. That's got to stop. Wow. If this guy lives to see the end of the year after trying to get frat parties shut down, I will be absolutely amazed. So, nice knowing you, Lewis. I don't think you're going to have a good future at that university. But if you want to be protected, Lewis, you know where you should go? You should go to the University of North Carolina in Charlotte because they have their own SWAT team. Yes, a university located, dedicated SWAT team. Heavy Weapons Tactical Response Group. And it's like, why? And of course the reason they said, oh, we've got to protect people against things like Columbine and Virginia Tech. And yes, those were terrible, terrible events. And no one wants that to happen to them. But if that is the excuse for having a SWAT team on campus, not in the town, not in the city of Charlotte, it's not the police there, SWAT will, there's a university SWAT team. It's like, well, okay, you're using those two events as justification when you look at all the campuses in all the schools and universities and colleges in all the country over all time. Statistically, this SWAT team is never going to be deployed. The chances of them having a violent armed situation they have to respond to is so close to zero, it doesn't count. Now, it can't be cheap to have a SWAT team on campus. And how long are they going to sit around doing absolutely nothing before someone goes, this was a dumb fucking idea? And these guys, they're not going to want to give it up. So they're going to justify their existence. And given that there are already cases of local police SWAT teams being used to break up frat parties, there's only one way this shit's gonna go. I'm just saying, you don't want to get in an Occupy protest in University of North Carolina, Charlotte. Maybe you don't want to do that in North Carolina anyway. But I tell you what, pepper spray and truncheons, that's going to be small shit for these fucking idiots with their armor and heavy guns, because they're going to need shit to do. And when they get sick of busting people for dope and smashing up frat parties, fuck knows what they're going to do next.